Let's go. Top 10 coaching staffs in the NFL as they sit today, and number 10.
I got to start with the Ravens. I think John Harbaugh is a very, very good coach, especially culture-wise. They're just never bad. No matter, I mean, you can throw in. Here's how you know you have a good staff and a good culture in place. Can you miss your star quarterback? Backup goes in, wins 3 or 4.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what Baltimore's done over the last couple of years with Tyler Huntley, right? Really good culture, always fundamentally sound. They're not going to beat themselves a ton. Now, are they super dynamic, young, flashy coaches? No. But do they get the job done? Absolutely, Ravens at 10.
Yeah, anytime you see them on the schedule, you never think it's going to be a cakewalk.
No.
It's never easy against the Ravens, no matter who you are. And I think a lot of that is due to the schemes from that coaching staff.
Yeah, and I think this is also why they've had a rivalry with the Steelers, because the Steelers are at 9, just one slot above. I just think Tomlin's a slightly better coach than Harbaugh. I think he provides a little bit more on one side of the ball. I think Tomlin to the defense is very important. I think John's more of a walk-around coach. I think the extra value that Tomlin provides is why they're a slot higher, because I don't like the Steelers' offensive and defensive coordinator much at all. DC's okay. Offensive coordinator, I mean, we want Canada gone as fast as humanly possible.
It's been a revolving door at offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh.
It's been bad. And that's why they're at 9. That's why they're not higher. Because Tomlin's a two-time Super Bowl winner. Like, he should be higher. But he's not. Or one time.
We have one.
But still.
Either way,
Super Bowl. He should be higher.
He's been to 2, won one of them. But
been to a bunch of playoffs, but yeah.
Yeah, and always had the Steelers above 500. Always a winning team under Tomlin.
Yeah, no, they're a very good, solid team. I think solid is 9. Yeah, solid feels right. 8, the Titans. I think Mike Vrabel is the most underrated head coach in football. If he had a better supporting cast, I think the Titans would be number 3. I think Mike Vrabel is that good. I mean, you look at games that they just have no business being in. They just go in and throttle teams. I mean, that playoff run that they had in 2019, 2020?
It was 2020.
Where they went all the way to the AFC Championship game. I mean, wildly impressive. So, yeah, them, they're at 8. There's just no special at the coordinator positions. There's just no special whatsoever there.
No, not. I think the coordinators and the dispersion of them is like super dense towards the top. So like the teams at the top of this list, I feel like have all the good
coordinators.
Ones. And this year is going to be the year where some of these guys start to prove themselves, because there has been a lot of turbulence in the coordinator community in this offseason. But yeah, Mike Vrabel, always a good coach, always smart, always seems to make playoff runs when least expected too. I mean, the Tennessee Titans have never been like world beaters or anything, but they are always competing for something.
Yeah, 100%.
Always.
Number 7, the Eagles. I love Nick Sirianni. If they had retained one or both of their coordinators, they'd be a lot higher. But no Shane Steichen, no Jonathan Gannon. So now you have turnover on both offensive and defensive staffs. The only one that remains is Sirianni, so that's a lot of turnover for me to put them higher. But nonetheless, they did make a Super Bowl. We're dynamic on both sides of the ball, so you got to give them their flowers.
It would be a crime to leave Sirianni off this list.
Yeah.
And what he's been able to do culture-wise and building a culture, that's another thing you have to look at. How are you gelling with the team, and can you get the team to come to a consensus and move forward with that identity? He's been able to do that in Philadelphia in a very short amount of time. So, I mean, I really don't fear that the coordinators that are going to be under him this year are going to be all that
I don't
bad.
think they're going to be bad.
No.
They just might not be as special, at least year 1, as the other ones were.
Right.
All right, Patriots at 6. So I know what you're saying, like they had, awful coordinators last year. Yeah, so they actually go out and get a real offensive coordinator in Bill O'Brien, who, don't kid yourself, Bill O'Brien's a real coordinator, right? When he was the head coach in Houston, they won the division 6 years in a row.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the man can coach. He's a really, really good offensive mind. I mean, look, Deshaun Watson's best years were all under him. He's been a really nice coordinator at Alabama in the past. Right? I mean, the man knows what he's doing. And so with that addition of just the offensive coordinator combined with Bill Belichick's defensive abilities, and what the offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien's going to be able to do to Mac Jones' progression, that's why they're at 6 on this list.
I think that'll really help. We're going to talk about Mac Jones a little bit later in the show, but I mean, we've always kind of banged on him for not being all that special, for being very limited. I think with the right coordinator, and this is true with any young quarterback, we've seen it happen 100 times, and I'm excited to see what happens this year with the Chargers and Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
right?
with Kellen Moore.
What are you going to do with a new OC? A lot of times they can elevate that quarterback play.
Yeah.
So watching Mac Jones over the next 2 to 3 seasons, I think is going to be very telling of this OC.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go with the Seahawks at 5. First of all, Pete Carroll. I mean, the job that he's able to do, what he's able to do relating to young players, which more and more in the league nowadays, you have to have young talent, right? 'Cause you either have to have a quarterback that's making good money and you got to hit on a ton of draft picks to stay young and cheap everywhere else, or you got to have a stacked roster like the Niners and then have a cheap quarterback. Right. So what he was able to do with a very, very young core, which is the direction of the league, is it's Hall of Fame stuff. It's Hall of Fame stuff. He's won a Super Bowl. Shane Waldron is the offensive coordinator. Sure. He is a very, very good offensive coordinator. It's a good staff. Defense has taken a ton of steps in the last couple of years.
You were able to win with Geno freaking Smith.
Geno Smith, yeah. So you get a ton of credit there.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. All right. Number 4 is the Niners. We got a little NFC West run here. Look, Kyle Shanahan. I don't think there's a ton else. I think he's the best offensive mind in football.
Easily.
Andy Reid's up there.
But Shanahan, I think, has the new infusion of youth to the game, too. I think he's brought a new system that everybody's kind of started to adopt.
He's also the best at running the football and going play action off of running the football.
Yeah, he's very old school and very methodical in how he moves the ball downfield.
I don't think it's an offense that ever goes out of style.
No, it's not, because
the way he does it.
If you can run the football like he likes to run the football,
and you can punch
if you can punch the team in the mouth and just wear them down, play after play after play of getting hit in the face with a run game like that, and then go over the top and have a quarterback that can make those type of throws and run off play action as well, is going to be huge.
Special, yeah. All right, the Rams at 3. I really, really like McVay, and they've had some consistency on their staffs, which is good as everybody comes back. Right, Stafford gets healthy, not a ton of turnover on the offensive side of the football. Defense, there's going to be some turnover, but that's fine. They'll be, whatever. It's fine.
They'll be just fine.
It's an offensive league. They're going to score. Right? It's Stafford, McVay, very good offensive staff. So
and then you have so many defensive leaders as players on the defensive side of the ball.
Aaron Donald.
You have an Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Right. So, and even leaders at the linebacker position, you're going to be just fine.
They'll be good. They'll be fine. All right. This is going to be the hot take. This is going to be where we're going to get ripped. I know it. Miami at 2.
Yeah.
Miami at 2. So first of all, I think Mike McDaniels is already a top 5 mind in the league. Period.
He's very similar to Kyle Shanahan in my mind.
He came from Shanahan, so that makes sense.
Right, not on the same level yet, but like the same ideals,
level
the same
of
feel,
evil
the same
genius.
swagger about him too.
It's like the level of like offensive evil genius that they're just a step ahead all the time.
Yeah, and I think something has to be said for the relationship that he's been able to build with Tua as well. I mean,
100%.
We've all heard the mic'd up videos from the sideline this past year, and it just. You don't see that too often. You don't
he's
see
able
head
to
coaches
infuse
bond
a
with
ton of confidence into Tua, and you've seen what it's been able to do.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator is massive. I think he's going to be a top 3 DC in the league. I really do. And number 1, the Chiefs. First of all, Andy Reid, who is probably the best coach in football right now, head coach-wise. Steve Spagnuolo. Now, they never have like a top 10 defense, but it always seems like they play better than they are when it counts. Yeah. Or like fourth quarter defense, the Chiefs are always like top 5 or 6, right? Mm-hmm. That's where it matters. So having those 2 veterans, the staples, right? Andy Reid and Spags. Now, they lose Bieniemy, but I think they'll be fine and they'll be able to recover. But Spags and Andy Reid, that is a really, really good duo at the top.
You got Mahomes. I mean, if you can't find an offensive coordinator,
he's like a coach on the field.
They can't think something up with Patrick Mahomes, and you have the wrong OC. Fire him week 1, right? I mean, Patrick Mahomes has to be the most coachable guy in the league to start off with,
probably,
and also the most uber talented, can do anything for you. You don't have to worry all that much about the play breaking down.
Fair enough.
As long as it's designed in the right way.
10-1. Ravens, Steelers, Titans, Eagles, Patriots, Seahawks, Niners, Rams, Dolphins, and Chiefs. You can see it on your screen.
That's a good list.
I think it's a good list, too. I think the good honorable mentions, right? The Bengals, the Jags and the Giants, those are good honorable mentions. Probably teams I would actually even predict to slide onto this list, so we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, guys,